Hello. So the Heroic High Sunbringer Dragon is now in Dragon City. And this dragon, being a heroic, is obviously one of the best dragons in the game with light, wind, fire, and plant as its elements. So this is a dragon that of course a lot of people want to get their hands on, and it is available in the current heroic race, which is an 11-day long event which has us finishing multiple of these race laps and finishing missions in order to get this dragon, along with a lot of other different rewards as well. But today I thought I would go through this as a general guide, both for anyone that is brand new to Dragon City, for anyone that is returning after a very long time, such as myself, and I guess anyone else that maybe was interested to see if they missed anything at the same time. So in this event, if you've ever played DML solo events, it's very similar in the sense that we have these missions on the right hand side here that show us what we need to do. And for example, right now I'm on lap 3, node 4, and it shows us that we can get items by feeding and items by collecting, as in collecting food from our farms. And so with these, we do get to a point where we can't collect any more items, and so then you will have to actually wait for a cooldown. This isn't the case for the first few missions, but then after a little while you will start getting timers and cooldowns on these quests. And for example, you just saw a little flower pop up, and that means that that quest is now done. And we have moved on to lap 3, node 5, this mission being getting items by breeding dragons. And so I did want to go into the way that I found easiest to actually finish off these missions. And also there's this special slot machine booster, and this can be very handy in particular scenarios. So I'll get onto all of that in a second, but just before that, we have this quest here, which is breeding dragons. And so the best thing that you can do during this event is make sure that you have at least one of your hatchery slots free, and also make sure that you've got one of the breeding dens free, because the thing that you're going to want to be breeding during this event is going to be Terra and Terra. The reason being that if I look at the possible results, the only possible result for this is going to be the Terra Dragon. And if we breed these together, it's a super short breeding time of just over like 15 seconds, I think it is total, but that's like 15, 14, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's incredibly short anyway, which means that then we can pop this egg over into our hatchery and see that if we got the item for it. And we can do this as many times as we want, really. We could just go breed, 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 keep coming back and doing the same thing, and then seeing if we get any of the items towards this mission. And so how this works is there is a percent chance, I believe it's 10% chance, we'll take a look in a second, of getting one of these mission points. And at the same time, again, some of the missions have cooldowns as to when you can actually get more of them. I believe most of the breeding ones, you can just keep doing them. So we will go ahead and sell this guy because we don't need him. Go back over to our breeding sanctuary, and we just keep doing it over and over again until we get those mission items. And so how do we actually know which one of these missions have cooldowns and which ones don't? We actually have this fantastic link that's been posted in our Discord server, which actually shows us. So this is the link here. This is Deatlist's Dragon City guide section, in particular for this race, which I will link in the description. And this gives us all of the information about which dragons are available. But this link has the information for every single lap in this event. So from lap 1 all the way up to lap 29, you can see every single mission and what you're going to have to do for each of them. And so since we are on lap 3, node 5, then we can go over here and then check the node that we're on, which is this one here, lap 3, node 5, breed dragons, number 3. There are 3 in the pool, and the wait time is instant, which means that we can do as many as we want, and that means there's no minimum amount of time required to finish, and the chance to get an item is 10%. And so that means that, again, every time we breed, we have that 10% chance of getting that item or that mission thing, like we just got one right there. So you just have to do it loads of times until you eventually get the items. And it's pretty simple for that one. And unlike the other quests, or I guess events in this game, these quests aren't actually based off of the total amount of time that you take to breed or anything like that. It is just, you have that flat 10% chance of getting that item. Did you get it this time? No. If not, do it again. There we go, we got another one, so 2 in a row. So it's very, very simple, but you must have at least one of the breeding slots free and one of the hatchery slots free. As long as you've got that, you can do that quest. There is also another quest for collecting food, and it's the same thing. If you put in the smallest, or I guess I should say the shortest food timer into this, which is going to be the super short 30-second bluebell bouquets, then you'll be waiting 30 seconds and you can do it in every single one of your farms and you can just regrow it all. So this one, I would say you've got more chances of it potentially giving you the item, so it might be even easier to do that one than it is the breeding quest. And plus, with the farms, you could even do 50% of them with the actual food that you want and 50% for the event stuff, so that you don't completely ruin your food production. But that is another quest that's going to come up. In this event, there are some troublesome quests, definitely. One of them is completing league battles, and I, in particular, have had a really tough time with some of these in the other events, mainly because I returned after such a long time. I don't have any of the good dragons in the game yet, so all of the enemies I go against generally have the good dragons and I don't, which, yeah, it's very difficult to try and actually find league opponents that I can beat. I can do it very, very infrequently, but in that case, you've got to wait for your league energy to come in, and at the same time, you've also got to be able to actually do the fights. So a lot of people end up gemming these quests when they come up, which does mean that I would recommend that you keep some gems spare for this event if you want to be able to complete it free to play. Now, maybe you're not free to play and you don't care, but when you're free to play, the gems are very, very important in general for upgrading things. But I feel like this heroic race is one where it might be worth saving up gems before it's due to start, and then using them in particular on potentially league battles or anything else that you get stuck on, but those league battles can be a massive pain. So when we finish this breeding node, we're actually going to go up to the next lap, and immediately we're going to be greeted by a collect food quest, then a feed quest, and a battle dragons quest. And this battle dragons quest in particular is one that can take quite a bit of time, because when you do one of the battles in this, it's a set battle in the event itself, and when you do it, you have to wait between each battle. And for instance, in this one, that it looks like there are 4 battles, and it looks to be like there is a 15-minute wait between each one, which means that it's going to take 60 minutes absolute minimum to be able to finish off this tier. And in this case, if you just want to be able to, you know, do what you do for the rest of them and just immediately be able to finish them, because getting to lap 15 for the heroic dragon is going to be a very, very tough challenge, then one thing that you can do, which it depends on which tier you're on or which mission you're on really, but you can actually use this special booster feature to help you out with this, because you'll see here that the one that I landed on earlier when I tried it for the first time was a +5. So essentially that gave me +5 items for that tier, which means that if we got onto one of these fights, then we could, well, if we got onto a specific mission that we couldn't do, you could always try using the jackpot spinner to give you the points for those quests. And I think that's the best thing to do either for league battles or any of the others that you're going to have to be forced to wait on. So this seems to give you a free spin every single day. And I would say make sure you use this at the right times. Like, don't use it on food quests or anything like that really you don't need them for. Use them on the tough ones like league battles or any of the other particularly annoying quests that you just can't seem to get done. Maybe you screwed up with your hatchery slots or something like that. Maybe you just need to use it for that one to try and get at least one item, in which case it's probably worth it, but depends. In the meantime, we're going to keep breeding, but you know, those are the general event rules that I've picked up, and also we do have collecting gold in some of the missions as well, so unless you are keeping massive track on what's coming up in every single node, I would suggest not collecting all of your gold. Like, for instance, when we get to node 3, and if we weren't going to gem it and do it naturally and say we knew it was going to take a little bit of time, maybe we could collect gold. But if you just plan on zooming through all of these, on node 4 there is a collect gold quest. So in that case, you wouldn't want to be collecting all of this gold here like this, because then you're not going to be able to, you know, actually collect stuff. But, you know, in general, there are the basic quests like that. It's mainly the league fights and things that can be a big problem. And same with the food. At the beginning of this event, I had to wait like an hour and a half because from the day before I fat fingered, basically. And by that, what I mean is I'd just woken up and I put in my previous food from the day or the night before, and then I had to wait for an hour and a half still before the event could actually start for me. So that's another thing you want to avoid. So maybe you could keep some food, like here you can see I've got some longer food in. As long as you've got a number of farms that you can use to try and get that food, you should be okay. But in terms of the event itself, you are going to go against other opponents, and the way that you can actually get High Sunbringer, if you didn't already know or it wasn't really clear in this event, is you can either get it by coming first in the race, or you can get High Sunbringer by coming or getting to lap 15. By coming lap 15, no, by getting to lap 15, or I guess finishing it, and then you can get High Sunbringer. So again, there is a guaranteed way to get High Sunbringer by getting to lap 15, but it's not exactly easy to get all the way up to there free to play. Or really, even if you're paying as well, you have to be able to log in and do these quests when they come up, which means that if you are going to be busy at certain times, you need to be really grinding out these quests to be able to get the Heroic Dragon from this guaranteed. There are also some other really good rewards in this event, like there's the Solar Scooter, there's the Legendary Egg Chest, there's a Banquet Box. At lap 16 there's also a Mythical Egg Chest, which I know will interest a lot of people because that's got some really cool dragons in there. But if 15 is going to be hard enough, maybe 16 is a little bit much for a lot of people to go for. There's also a Titan Egg at 19, but I don't think that is doable free to play. I think that is premium only. But there are the main rewards from this event, really. But we do also have some other dragon rewards that you can get as well. If you finish 4th to 8th, then you will get at least 2 dragons. So as long as you get to lap 5, and then, which doesn't really require that much time and effort, to be honest. As long as you get to lap 5, you are guaranteed to get Mr. Wingspan and Mr. Yellow out of this, which are very cute. Not my favourite dragons ever, but they're okay. And then if you get between 2nd to 3rd, you can get your hands on Demolition as well, which is a legendary, and it's basically Miley Cyrus dragon, interesting enough. But then if you come first, then that guarantees you every single dragon in this event. So it really is a race in the sense of if you come first in the laps, you're going to get High Sunbringer and all the other dragons. So that's why there's 2 methods of getting the main reward dragon out of this event, which I think is a really good thing, because again, maybe you're just not in a very competitive bracket and you can't get to lap 15, then in that case, maybe you'll come first and still get the heroic. So there are a lot of different ways to get different dragons and things out of this event, but you've got to be careful because obviously with the nature of this event, it does mean that people are going to be liable to gem certain things. So even though you might be like first right now, if you're not keeping on top of it, you may end up falling well behind. So definitely keep note of where everyone else is. And at the same time, you know, I guess if you really want to make sure you get the dragon, just make sure you get to lap 15. But, you know, depends on what your bracket is like, really. Maybe you're going to have a really nice one, maybe you're going to have a really horrible one, but you'll see other players getting stuck on some specific missions And those mainly, from what I can tell, seem to be the league battles, sometimes breeding, and sometimes it would be the set weight battle missions as well. So if you're smart about it, I'm sure that you can get your hands on the Heroic Dragon, but if you go against spenders, then, you know, getting it via getting first place is obviously not going to be something that you can do. So those are my general I guess tidbits of advice or guidance for this from my pretty limited experience of playing this event so far. It's I at least wanted to take a look at a few of the quests and missions that were coming through and seeing how to do them first before I was going to start talking about guides or anything like that. But in general, it seems like the mission quests that I've already done are just going to be repeating at this point. But there's going to be longer wait times on them, and there's going to be more of them, if that makes sense. So it is worth checking some of the later laps, because for example, if we go to lap 10, which is quite a bit further down the line, we've got a no minimum wait time, but then we get to the Battle Dragons quest on lap 10 node 3, and that's a 12-hour wait on that one. 12-hour wait! That is a lot of time to have to wait for that particular quest, so you can imagine that when you see things like that, you can understand why people would be liable to gem-specific missions. And then, again, we come down to collect food. There is a small wait on that one of 18 minutes, but then the final node, that's a 32-minute wait for hatching eggs and breeding dragons. That's the other one that we've got that I haven't really looked at yet, is hatching eggs, which it's going to be the same thing, you know, terra, get the egg out of the hatchery, boom, bang. Easy peasy lemon squeezy for those ones, really. It's the league battles and the breeding stuff and the battling which really is going to be the hold up for most players, which I'm sure anyone that's played this event before knows that. But especially if you're new going into this and maybe you don't really understand how all of the item drops work, that's how they work. You've got a set chance of getting them every time you try and breed. Like, we finally got our breeding one there, and now we are on lap 4. So we do get our large food for that, which I'll take it. 455,000 is not bad. And then get items by collecting food, and we have to get 21 items for this one. So again, we go back and we start collecting food from our farms again, which it can get a little bit repetitive, but if you want your hands on a free-to-play heroic, this is what you have to do. And again, just to double check, we come back, we can check lap 4, node 1, there's no wait time on this collecting, so we can do this instantly. We just have to pray to RNG that the 10% drop actually drops the flowers that we need, or I should say gives us the item, but drops the flower sounds like a good way of saying it, I suppose. But ultimately, out of this event, you've got to pray for RNG on the actual people that you go against. I was told that going into this, if you've never played a heroic race before, that everyone should be a bot. That's obviously not the case with mine, because these people aren't bots. We've got at least a few people logging in. Maybe some of them are, but it seemed like the person in position number 2 was immediately logging in and immediately was ahead of me, and that scared me. So I'm not sure if it's true. Maybe you have to have a brand new account for it to activate, but I've never actually played a heroic race before this, and there are definitely people. There are definitely people in my bracket, so yeah, just be aware of that when you're doing it. Of course, that doesn't mean that you have to leave out all of your other, I guess, day-to-day battling. I would say that quest battles, you could probably go ahead and get those done, because I don't think they're used for anything. But league battles, yeah, the league battles and such, they are definitely going to be a tough point for a lot of players like myself. So, do you have the gems available to actually gem those quests? That's really the question, or can you do them naturally? It was nice that at the beginning of this event, they did give some free gems. What was it? Was it 20 gems right at the beginning of the event? And they can come in handy, definitely, but they don't give any other gems at any point. So, from this point onwards, after that, you're basically on your own to try and fend for yourself to get these quests done. So, those are my tips for you for now. I do wish you the best. But you can still get your day-to-day breeding and such done. Don't worry about it too much. Like, all that you have to do is just leave at least one slot open in each place, and then the rest of the event you can basically just get on with your normal day-to-day grind stuff. So, yeah, I would say good luck. I hope that you can get your hands on this pretty fiery heroic dragon. And I guess we will get to hatching more dragoons very soon.